So Gohan, apart from being is probably one of the most iconic characters in all of anime. Like if you watch Dragon Ball at any point in your life, you've probably gone through the 5 stages of Gohan grief. You got denial, hype, disappointment, acceptance, and then buying his action figure anyway. And like most Dragon Ball fans, I once believed he was done dirty too. I used to rant about it like a madman who just found out his favorite crypto crashed, pacing around my room, arms flailing, yelling about wasted potential, while contributing absolutely nothing to society. I'd watch the Cell Saga and scream, this was supposed to be his moment. And then the Boo Saga came around and I'd whisper, yeah, maybe next time. And finally Super came along and I would just sigh like a divorced dad at a school recital. But after watching Super for like the 3rd time, finishing Daima, I came to the realization that first, I have chronic back pain. And second, Gohan's story arc is actually perfect. Now don't get me wrong, 10 years ago if someone said that to me, I'd probably write a 12-paragraph Reddit reply explaining why they were wrong and why Toriyama personally betrayed me. But now I'm older, I'm wiser, partly, and I've made peace with it. Mostly because I don't have the same energy to argue with teenagers online anymore. And before you flip the comments calling me a corporate shill for Toei or something, hear me out. Because trust me, Toei's not paying me. If they were, I wouldn't be filming in this room where the lighting setup is just a hope in a window. So the first point of why the Gohan arc is perfect is Vegeta. You see, before I became the tax-paying adult who now ranks characters in order of trauma, Gohan used to be my favorite. I was heavily invested in the Gohan coin. I had the t-shirts, the hair gel, the rage issues, the full package. I think at one point my parents were genuinely concerned that I might try to turn into Super Saiyan in public. I mean, they weren't wrong. I did try once. I screamed so hard and tried to power up that I gave myself a nosebleed and a mild existential crisis. Okay, but going back to Dragon Ball, we did have but then Vegeta stole the show. The grumpy dad energy, the ego, the I will kill you but also respect you dynamic with Goku, and that changed everything for me. He walked in like a 5'5" ball of fury, pride, and gym rat motivation. The man's entire character arc is just him being mad that God meets someone slightly stronger than him. And for me, Vegeta is what made Dragon Ball Z evolve from punch until planet explodes to punch until planet explodes, but emotionally. He turned what was basically a martial arts cartoon into a midlife crisis simulator. And that was kind of awesome. And here's the thing, you see, if Gohan had taken the mantle as a protagonist, we never would have gotten this. No Vegeta redemption, no Saiyan rivalry, no 2 grown men screaming about power levels while ignoring their families. Without that push and pull, the entire franchise would lose its heart and its mean potential. Because that's the magic of Vegeta. He's the only man alive who can turn jealousy into a religion. He's pride, insecurity, and therapy avoidance all in this small but powerful royal package. Now imagine if Gohan had replaced this dynamic. I mean, you'd have Goku, the man-child, and then Gohan, the well-adjusted honor student, both trying to carry a franchise built entirely on emotional damage. That just wouldn't work. There's no tension in 2 healthy people getting along. That's not Dragon Ball. That's more like Parent-Teacher Conference, the anime. Gohan's personality just doesn't fill that space. He's too emotionally stable. He's the guy who finishes his taxes early, not the guy who screams them into submission. He reads bedtime stories. Vegeta reads his enemy's last rites. And look, Gohan might be powerful, but Vegeta's petty. He once trained for 10 straight years just to be one guy who really didn't care. That's not just determination, that's the spirit of every middle-aged man who refuses to lose at bowling night. So yeah, Gohan may have been my childhood hero, but Vegeta became the reason I wake up every morning and whisper to myself, don't be a little bitch today. My second point is, well, Gohan is every parent's wet dream. Let's break it down. He marries the daughter of the richest man on earth. He becomes a literal scholar. He's raising a kind daughter, not disappearing for 5 years to train with blue monkeys like his dad. Gohan is everything Goku isn't. He's responsible, he's grounded, and capable of reading a book without it exploding. He's the kind of guy you bring home to your parents. Not the guy who teleports into your living room uninvited, eats all your food, and then asks, hey, has anybody seen Frieza lately? He's got it all. He's got the money, the brains, the family. I mean, the man bagged Videl. He turned her from a menace to a mom. Meanwhile, his dad's best career achievement is dying creatively. And to be fair, Goku is amazing at that, but that's not really an achievement. But Gohan, Gohan's a guy who shows up to work on time, contributes to his 401k, and still manages to save the world on weekends. He's like the Dragon Ball equivalent to that cousin your mom always keeps comparing you with. You know, the one who has a stable marriage, the good job, the abs that say, hey yeah, I jog recreationally. So when people say Gohan's soft, I kinda laugh now, because he didn't really get soft. I mean, he got tenure. He's not a failed warrior, he's a successful adult, which ironically, in Dragon Ball terms, is rarer than Ultra Instinct. Like, think about it. This man went from crying in space to grading papers for a living. That's real character development. He learned that true power isn't about screaming for 10 minutes straight until your hair changes color, it's really about making sure your daughter's homework is done on time. And come on, you know Chi-Chi is somewhere off there off screen. Because let's be real, raising Goku was basically raising a nuclear warhead with brain damage. Gohan didn't just make her proud, he probably made her believe in God again. He's the dream child, the proof that hard parenting, a little emotional manipulation, and light trauma can really produce results. Now, my third point, let's tackle the what if situation. I mean, what if Gohan had taken over after the Cell Saga? Short answer, it would have been terrible. Long answer, it would have been really terrible. Here's why. Gohan's core motivation isn't just fighting, it's peace. He's not Goku 2.0, he's more like Goku's counterpart. He fights because he has to, not because he wants to. It's not a weakness, that's just realism. It's called having boundaries, something Goku's never heard of.
I wouldn't come here just to see your boobies. Yours are too saggy now. What's wrong with you?
If Gohan had become the lead, the story would have lost that rivalry dynamic that defines Dragon Ball. You think Gohan's gonna get into a screaming match about pride and power levels? No, he'd probably just apologize and then give you homework afterwards. The thing is that Dragon Ball needs Goku and Vegeta now. They're fire and gasoline, stupidly dangerous but spectacular together. It's chaos that works. They yell, they punch, they almost die every episode, and yet somehow still bond. It's basically every father-son camping trip condensed into like 300 episodes and 3 animes. And if Gohan had replaced that, the series would have turned Dragon Ball into like Dragon Ball Academic Conference. And honestly, no one wants to watch a man lecture Cell on ethics. Like, Cell, what you're doing is wrong. But also, could you cite your sources? The entire tone of the series would have changed overnight. Instead of screaming for 10 minutes to charge an attack, Gohan would have been spending 10 minutes just filling out forms to apply for a research grant or something. The stakes wouldn't be, can he save the world? It'd be more like, can he meet the funding deadline? And look, this isn't me hating on Gohan. The man's incredible. He's the only person in Dragon Ball history to beat the villain and still remember to pick up groceries afterward. But that's not the point. He's just too normal for this universe. Goku's the chaos engine. Vegeta's the ego trip. Gohan's like the gym of Dragon Ball. He's our eyes into the show. He's the one that we can relate to the most, and it's important to have a character like that in a story. Because remember, Dragon Ball needs stupidity to function. The moment everyone starts acting logically, the plot collapses. If Gohan had become the lead, we'd have no Super Saiyan Gods, no Ultra Instinct, no Vegeta Meltdown number 47, just an overqualified dad lecturing aliens about work-life balance. And sure, I mean, that can be relatable, but that'd be more like TED Talk Z. Finally, part 4, because there is a part 4, or point 4? Yeah, let's say point 4. Here's where the writers prove their own point, or well, my point. Future Gohan. In Trunks' future, Goku dies, Gohan becomes the last defender, and it goes exactly how you would imagine. Horribly. He loses his arm, his friends, his childhood, basically everything except his tragic hero aesthetic. It's bleak, it's emotional, but brilliant, because it shows exactly why Gohan shouldn't be the main protagonist. He's a symbol of what happens when peace is forced to become war. He doesn't thrive in conflict, he endures it. And that's a big difference. He's not a soldier, he's a scholar who ran out of options. Future Gohan isn't the hero we cheer for, he's more like the hero we pity. He's what happens when hope gets tenure, and then gets fired anyway. Every swing, every desperate Kamehameha, feels like he's just trying to hold on to the last piece of humanity left, and that's a little bleak. But that's what makes the character complete. He's what happens when the son tries to carry the sins of the father. Goku's legacy is power through conflict. Gohan is trauma through expectation. It's poetic in the most depressing way possible. It's like watching Rocky if he lost in the first round and then applied for disability. And I mean, even Sparking Zero doubles down on the idea, with the branching storylines. Every route with Gohan that gives him more responsibility either ends in tragedy or isolation. The universe basically looks at Gohan and says, buddy, look, we love you, but this isn't your franchise. And that's okay. It's almost like the writers wanted to remind us. Gohan's peace has value precisely because he walks away from violence. When he fights, it's not exciting. It's more tragic. You don't really cheer because he's winning. You kind of sigh because he has to. He's the embodiment of potential forced to become survival. He's not meant to surpass Goku. He's meant to show us what happens when someone tries, but realizes the cost. And in that way, Future Gohan is perfect. He's not a failure, he's more of a warning label. He's the living proof that sometimes the strongest thing you can do is choose not to fight, or choose not to be like your dad. So Gohan's story isn't really about surpassing Goku, it's more of escaping him. He's proof that strength doesn't have to mean fighting forever. He became what his dad never could, a present father, a decent husband, and someone who probably knows how to file taxes. Goku's idea of parenting is teleporting away mid-conversation. Gohan's idea of parenting is attending parent-teacher meetings. He's the embodiment of balance. The man who saved the world and then actually showed up for dinner afterward. No dramatic exit, no sudden training arc, no, sorry honey, the galaxy's exploding again, just normalcy. And in the Dragon Ball universe, that's basically enlightenment. And the beauty is, he could still fight if he wanted to. He just doesn't have to. That's not weakness, that's wisdom. It's the quiet confidence of a man who's beaten gods, androids, and personal trauma, and now just wants to beat the traffic on the way home. And that's real peace. That's real growth. That's character development. Something Goku still hasn't discovered between screaming sessions. Gohan's story doesn't end power-ups. I mean, he does get one, but it ends more in contentment. And honestly, that's one of the only characters in Dragon Ball who's managed to earn that ending. He got what everyone else was fighting for, a life worth living. And he didn't need extreme transformations or story arcs, he just needed perspective. So yeah, maybe Gohan didn't become the new Goku, but that's the whole point. His story isn't about punching the next god, it's about finding balance in a world obsessed with fighting. He didn't chase the next transformation for rivalry, he chased stability, which is basically a banned substance in Dragon Ball. So Gohan didn't fail the legacy, he redefined it. He showed that sometimes walking away from the fight takes more strength than actually joining it. While everyone else is busy screaming themselves into enlightenment, he's just there quietly raising his kid and grading papers. And yet somehow that feels more heroic than blowing up another moon. I'm looking at you. And in a universe where everyone's always breaking limits, Gohan is the one who figured out how to live within them, which honestly might be the most Super Saiyan thing anyone's ever done. Because at the end of the day, Gohan didn't need another power-up. I mean, he got it, but he didn't need it. He needed peace, and that's what he's got.